The following is an exclusive presentation of WI Garden Media, the voice of Garden Talk Radio. Coming up on the program today, we're going to go over those summer pests that will affect your garden, as well as birds and bats in your garden, on your property. They're good. We'll explain why. And our guest, Charlotte Wiggins, author, will be with us, and we'll answer your garden questions. The hour is full, and it starts now.
You are listening to the most informationally packed hour of garden-focused radio in the country and on the internet with your host, husband and wife team Joey and Holly Baird. This is the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
And welcome to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. Happy that you are part of the program today, whether you're listening to us on one of the 18 AM and FM frequencies broadcasting our program here in 2022 through our radio app, through our parent website, which is the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, underneath the Season 6 tab at the top of the page. Podcast replay, in-studio video replay, however you're getting it in your ears or in your eyes. We thank you for that. I am your host, Joy Baird. Beside me is my wife, co-host, best friend, and gardening partner,
Holly Baird.
This program is for you, about you, to help your garden grow better, to maintain your landscape, grow healthier trees, make your grass look greener, as well as preserving what you grow. If you want to be part of the program, in addition to what you're already doing by just tuning in, we thank you for that. Again, you can give us an email. You can send us an email to gardentalkradio@gmail.com, gardentalkradio@gmail.com, or if you'd like to communicate with us via voice, you can do that as well by giving us a call on the Proclamation Hotline, brought to you by Proclamation Goods. That number is 1-800-927-SHOW, 1-800-927-7469.
Proclamation Goods creates cookware for the eco-conscious home chef. Their pans are non-toxic, have a lifetime warranty, and are made in Wisconsin. Their award-winning stainless steel Proclamation Duo cookware set is a 12-inch skillet and a stock pot that doubles as a wok. Best of all, the skillet and stock pot hinge together to form a Dutch oven. It's two pans with the versatility of 10, empowering you to cook more with less.
And we have.
Yes, and if you care about your health and strive for a more sustainable lifestyle, then Proclamation Goods is for you. Supply is limited, so order yours now at proclamationgoods.com.
All right. Well, summer pests. We are at some point. I know you guys over in Colorado listening on the Roar of the Rockies, 1360 AM. You guys got hit with some snow not too long ago. And other places of the country who's listening to us are dealing with extreme heat. And some are dealing with drought, and others dealing with too much moisture. So it's a whole gamut. But summer will be here soon, if not already, in your particular neck of the woods. And there's bugs in which you need to be aware of what they are. Because I would say, Holly, 90% of fixing the problem that's in your garden is identifying what's causing that problem.
Absolutely. And one thing to keep in mind is finding the problem first and being proactive, as opposed to not realizing there's a problem and then you have to be reactive.
Or it's too late.
Right? So the biggest one is regularly monitoring the garden. And this doesn't mean like you just walk through and like, oh, there's a tomato flower or something. It means that you start looking for problems. Maybe you look under the leaves of plants that you have issues with typically, or other people in your area have issues with. Which would be anything.
Squash.
Yeah, like squash.
The eggs are underneath the leaves. You might have webbing underneath the leaves of your tomatoes. That's spider mites. So you want to designate a certain amount of time. Enjoy it. Kind of be, I don't know what maybe you call it your peacetime, your meditation time.
Connection.
Right.
Grounding.
But yeah. Look. You have to look.
Right. Even just something as simple as, oh, this plant has a bunch of holes in the leaves, and that's not typical. It might just be one plant, or you notice that there's, a whole infestation of aphids in one corner of your garden. You just want to definitely keep an eye out.
And if you are a first-time gardener or a advanced gardener, we all have that little instinct in our head, and we look at something going, that doesn't seem right. If that occurs when you're monitoring your garden, then you should investigate that. If 4 tomato plants look lush and green and one seems all curled up and twisted and doesn't look happy, something ain't right there. What the Sesame Street, one of these things is not like the other.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So you want to keep an eye out for signs of any sort of obvious pest issue or, while you're monitoring. And then you also don't want to put off treating infestations. You don't want to wait around and see if it gets better on its own. A lot of times that just means that it's going to get worse.
A lot of these soft-body insects can be eradicated by using the amazing Dr. Zymes. You can sign up for 2 free 2-ounce samples plus shipping at drzymes.com/garden talk. You get 2 free samples of Eliminator in the concentrated form, and this will affect the bad bugs but not hurt the beneficial insects. It's a phenomenal product.
Right. So what you want to do is you don't want to put this off, whatever it is.
It's kind of like if you've got kids and you know the kid's diaper is dirty, you don't wait 2 or 3 days to change that diaper. You do it right away. Same thing with the plants.
Not quite the same, but, you know.
Work with me here, woman. Work.
Well, I'm just saying, like, maybe you realize that you're not feeling well.
Yeah.
And instead of thinking, oh, was this possibly a cold, you just start, resting, increasing your fluids, etc. Same thing for your plants, whatever they need.
And a lot, Holly, is keeping the plants hydrated. That'll fix a lot of the problems before they even exist, because a hydrated plant is a healthier plant. Much like, and we're not doctors, much like humans, if you are fully hydrated, you're probably healthier than those who are not fully hydrated.
Absolutely. So the other thing is that you want to know your pests and what to look for. So perhaps maybe you are new to gardening, or you are new to gardening in a certain area. Try to find some local information, whether it be your local university extension or maybe a neighbor, or sometimes there's programs at your local library or garden center.
If you can't, send us an email, gardentalkradio@gmail.com, and we know people in the gardening world, like automotive people know people, and teachers know. We can help you with that. We want you to be successful.
Absolutely. Then also making sure that you rotate your crops regularly. This will often, make a better better opportunity for bugs if they keep doing, infesting a certain area. When you rotate your crops, you could rotate the crop away from the bug that's attacking it.
Now, would you leave the crop alone if there's no problem with that particular crop? In a conventional backyard, would you leave the zucchini in the same spot if there was no problem, or should you still try to fight that rotation, even if it's very difficult to do in a small area?
If my zucchini was doing well and I knew that my soil was healthy,
right,
I would just leave it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you want to, speaking of soil health, you want to focus on the soil health. So you want to make sure your soil is, well fertilized, has good nutrients in it, well draining, and again, the watering. The soil health, the watering health of the plants is going to help the plants stave off a lot of pest attacks.
And if you do not have a soil test that you have gotten from your local university extension office, you can identify some potential soil problems by looking at the plant. If the plant's red and yellow and not bright green, you may have a deficiency in nitrogen. Nitrogen is the first letter on the fertilizer bag, which allows the plant to be lush and green. If you're in a raised bed or a container, you might have a leaching problem because that nitrogen is being washed away at a rapid pace, and you might need to figure out what's causing that excessive watering, especially in containers. But you can see some of the problems visually from the plant, but to know the extent of what's going on beneath the soil, a soil test is really the only way you're going to know. You can't go to the soil, look at the ground and go, that's healthy soil, that's bad soil. It doesn't work that way.
Right. And that's very important. So one common problem that we have, or many people have in their garden, is Japanese beetles.
Oh.
And everybody, just moans and groans about it. One way you can get rid of it is by using Phylum bioproducts.
And also you can use the Rescue Japanese beetle traps from rescue.com.
Yes. And those work
here's the thing. People have, let's say it's a cherry tree. The tree is getting infested. It just covered in Japanese beetles. Well, I'll hang the trap underneath the tree. That trap has pheromone lures in it, which attracts the Japanese beetle. If you hang it directly where the problem is, every Japanese beetle in the county is going to come to that tree that's already being attacked. You want to move that trap, that lure, to the far corner and pull everything away from the problem area. And it has worked very well for us doing that. Using it, you're going to lure them in, but you're going to lure them away from where the problem's at.
Absolutely. And then there's also insects like aphids. A lot of times with aphids, if they chose one plant to suck the life out of, you can certainly let it just...
Or a weed.
Yeah, or weed or whatever. Just let it do its thing. You can spray them with soapy water.
Dr. Zymes works for that as well. Mm-hmm. But again, like you said, if you got if you sacrifice one plant and everything's attacking it, or one weed, that's why maybe it's not always beneficial to remove all the weeds from the garden. That there's some weeds. We've had lamb's quarter that has gone 5-6 foot tall, and everything attracted to that lamb's quarter and left the tomatoes and the peppers and the egg, all that stuff alone. But it was just this habitat for these black and yellow or black and white aphids, and we left it alone because it wasn't bothering anything else.
Right.
So you got to be smart about that. You got to use a little common sense. And I'm not saying you are not smart about this. We're just advising you in a way that maybe you're not thinking.
Right, definitely. And you also want to keep in mind that something like Colorado potato beetles, we get a lot of questions about this, and a lot of people are like, what's a good solution? And unfortunately, because
dynamite,
so many people have used pesticides to control these, they have now become pesticide resistant.
Yes.
So you have to literally pick them off the plants.
People will use a vacuum sweeper.
Yeah, they'll use a vacuum cleaner. You can put them in a bucket of soapy water. If you hand pick them, you have to look under the leaves, all over, and that's what you have to do.
This will, if you've got grandkids or kids, you can give them like a penny or a nickel, or that those coins still exist in 2022. Give them that, so many per bug, and help them evaluate or teach them the value of money.
Right.
Just something to do. Well, also something you can do is look at waltonsinc.com, Holly. They have everything that you possibly could need except for the meat, whether you're cooking, processing animals, or barbecuing in your backyard.
We are brought to you today by our sponsor, Walton's Inc. We know you care about where your food comes from. Canning and preserving your fruits and vegetables is great. But what about the meat? At waltonsinc.com, you can get all the equipment, seasoning, and supplies to make sausage, jerky, and any other meat product your way to your high standards. Do you want to make snack sticks that people will actually like?
Or you like.
Well, exactly. Walton's created meatgistics.com, an informational site to help you make the best finished product. Walton's even has their full line of their own meat grinders, mixers, and sausage stuffers to help you go from animal to edible. Walton's, everything but the meat. You can use code GROW50 to save 10% off orders of 50 or more and get free shipping.
When we come back, birds and bats in your yard on your property. Yes, it is a good thing. We'll explain why. You're listening to the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show.
Got a question for Joey and Holly? Send it via email anytime to gardentalkradio@gmail.com.
Brought to you by Blue Ribbon Organics, providing locally made organic compost and soil blends for gardens, farms, landscaping, and more. Visit blueribbonorganics.com or call 262-497-8539 to find their products nearest you. We know that you appreciate the value of a beautifully landscaped yard, but tackling such a project yourself can seem way too complicated, right? Bloomin' Easy Plants are the answer. Their plants are low maintenance and offer exceptional beauty and color for your yard. Plus, they offer free seasonal care reminders with simple how-to videos tailored to the plants that you choose. With Bloomin' Easy on your side, creating the yard that you've always wanted becomes as easy as plant, water, and relax. Check them out at your local garden center or by visiting bloomineasyplants.com. Deer Defeat is an all-natural repellent to keep deer, rabbits, and groundhogs away from your precious plants. Deer Defeat protects your plants day and night, dries clear, and odorless. It will not clog your sprayer. Deer Defeat works for 30 days through rain, snow, and freeze. Safe, effective, and works on rabbits. Money-back guarantee. To purchase, go to deerdefeat.com and use code RADIO to save 10% on your order. Deer Defeat. It can't be beat.
A non-selective herbicide that is also USDA certified? You bet. No More Weeds by Naturally Green Products. The same great company that brings you No More Bugs, No More Weeds. Kills weeds with no harsh chemicals, no glyphosate. No More Weeds is a commercial-grade vinegar base with a proprietary sticking agent. Great around pools, decks, patios, etc. Visit natgreenproducts.com, enter promo code WEEDS, WEEDS, and buy 3 1-gallon size units Get the fourth one free.
A little bit of summer is what the whole year's all about. Barbecues, parties, with friends. The fun is endless, unless the sun or thunderstorms have damaged your outdoor furniture. Keep it looking brand new with custom protective covers from coversandall.com. They have fabric choices for days that are 100% waterproof, coated to protect against sun, and can be custom designed for any size or shape, and placing or removing them. Easy peasy. Visit coversandall.com and use code GARDEN25 at checkout to save 25% on your purchase. Chip Drop is a website you can sign up for free wood chip mulch delivery right to your door for free. Chip Drop connects homeowners and gardeners with tree services who are trying to get rid of their wood chips. You can also sign up to get free logs and firewood. Go to chipdrop.com to learn more and sign up for a free account.
Are you tired of mixing and matching soil amendments to give your garden what it needs to flourish? Try Climate Guard, the nutritionally complete all-in-one organic fertilizer made with ethically derived NPK, beneficial bacteria, crop-boosting fungi, humic acid, and silica. Climate Guard uses cutting-edge microbiology and ethically derived plant nutrition to produce the same results as conventional fertilizers without the negative environmental impacts. Each Climate Guard pellet is infused with a high-performance blend of living organisms that will continue building a rich ecosystem in your soil long after application. Available in 7.5 and 15-pound bags, Climate Guard is delivered directly to your door and available for order at shopjohnnyappleseed.com. That's shopjohnnyappleseed.com.
Thanks for listening to the Gardening with Joe and Holly radio show. As you've heard through the program, many companies offering coupon codes to help you save on great products. If you've missed any of those coupon codes, you can go to our parent website, the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, and click on the Money tab at the top of the page, and they're all listed for you. The Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show is brought to you by the following: Pro Plugger, Chip Drop, Bellbuster, Johnny Appleseed, Ivy Organic, Milkweed Balm, Walton's Incorporated, Bloomin' Easy Plants, Jung Seeds. Find all sponsors at the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com and thank them for their support. Welcome back to the Gardening with Joe and Holly radio show. Thank you for being with us today. Tree diaper. You want something that's going to hydrate your plants, that takes the guesswork out of it? Tree diaper is the answer.
Tree diaper is a revolutionary watering system that slowly releases water around the base of any tree or plant as the soil dries. The tree diaper is filled with water from rain or when you water and slowly releases water over 3 weeks. No more overwatering or underwatering with the tree diaper. Every time it rains, the tree diaper recharges. No pipes, hoses, or electricity needed. You can water your plants and trees whether they're down the road, by the house, or in the back 40. Also works under mulch, whether you're a first-time gardener or advanced. Tree diaper will improve the way you water your plants. Made in the USA. You can find all the sizes they have available at treediaper.com. And
people are amazed by how quickly it hydrates. We did a talk recently where we demonstrated a dehydrated or a new tree diaper, and then we put one in a pail of water, or a little pan of water, and before our talk was half done, it had swelled up, and they were just mesmerized, excited about how well that worked, and was had a lot of questions about it. So treediaper.com.
Well, let's talk about the birds and bats.
Well, people may think, well, why would I want bats in my property?
Well, bats are amazing mammals. They're the only mammal that can fly. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yes, they're the only mammal that can fly.
I do know not all of them want to suck your blood.
No.
That is a very a wise tale.
Right.
There are some that are that way, but not what you're going to have in your backyard.
Exactly. So, yeah, so there's bats, and they can greatly reduce the population of mosquitoes, which is obviously a good thing. And they
and you may have bats in your property and you don't know about it.
Right, exactly, because they house in eaves during the day.
Nocturnal.
They're nocturnal. So, or if you have, wooded area near your home, they might be underneath like an old tree or something, tree limb that's fallen over. They look for kind of places they can tuck up under into.
Right, and that's why if you want to be careful by not leaving like garage doors open or shed doors open that are going to be intended to be closed at some point, because they will find that opening and use that as their housing inside of a barn or a garage, and it can be quite difficult to get them to leave.
Right. And if you want to help the bats, you can buy bat houses or make your own bat house. And you can put this on a stake or on the side of a house or something. You put it high up so that they can feel safe high up off the ground, and then they will stay in that bat house.
Now, we do have to say that that's a good way to go about doing it, but check your regulations in your municipality to make sure it is legal to do such, or you can do it and not tell anybody and hope nobody finds out.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's, I mean, even in some state parks now, they have bat houses.
And bat guano,
yeah.
Bat guano, the droppings, very good for the garden. However, some companies don't do it, harvest very safely, economically.
Right. So anyway,
Safely.
as I was saying, they have bat houses in state parks now, and many of them
Are they labeled, or do you know that it's a bat?
Yeah, they're labeled.
It's not going to be like, what's this thing? They've got it.
No, and it's an educational point for whoever wants to learn about it.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's that. They do help, with the pest control, with the mosquitoes, moths.
How many mosquitoes can a bat eat?
1,200 per hour.
1,200 mosquitoes an hour.
Yep, about 6,000 to 8,000 a night.
That's, okay, that's quite a lot. I mean, that's a lot. Poor person who had to count all those mosquitoes getting eaten. 1,200 mosquitoes an hour, 6,000 to 8,000 every night, and usually there is a group of bats that they're not individual. They kind of go together. I don't know what the correct term is. They fly together
in groups.
Yeah.
I don't know what a bat group is called. All right, so I wonder if it's like, what are birds called when they're together?
Well, blackbirds, a group of blackbirds is called a murder. Murder of blackbirds. Crows. Maybe that was crows.
It's crows.
Okay. Anyway, bats and birds. Birds are very beneficial for
There's a song about the crows. I'm not going to sing.
No, let's not go there.
Okay, so anyway, bats, they actually help pollinate as well. So they will, do the nectar thing, just like hummingbirds do. And then they can also carry seeds and drop seeds. So they have been responsible for
colony of bats. Colony of bats. And their babies are called pups.
Aww.
Not like that.
Pups.
Yeah.
Aww.
Okay, go back to what you're...
They're sky puppies.
Okay.
Anyway.
Here's what we need, more flying dogs.
Anyway, so they pollinate the pests and they disperse the seeds.
They pollinate the...
Not the pests, the plants.
Plants.
I can't talk. And they disperse the seeds. So they do eat enough, listen to this, they eat enough pests to save more than $1 billion per year in crop damage and pesticide costs.
$1 billion.
Yep. In the United States corn industry.
And this is bats, or is this birds?
Bats.
Bats. Okay.
Yep. And that's from the, what's it called? The DNR.
Department of Natural Resources.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, what they do is they do
a lot of planting. I mean, if you really look at it, they have a significant impact in the environment of getting things harvested and planted and moved around.
And they make a home where they live. So it's not like they're taking seeds from, across town and bringing them across to the other part of town. They're usually going to be within like a little area.
So they can, kind of like a squirrel, so they get the seeds, do what they need to do, drop the seeds, and then the next year the plant's there for them to eat off of. They've kind of replanted their fruits.
I'm not really sure if they do that necessarily, but...
I wouldn't put it past them. Nature is a phenomenal thing.
It is a phenomenal thing. Yes, I certainly agree. But anyway, bats are amazing. You shouldn't be scared. A lot of times if a bat is flying low, it's possible that it's maybe sick or something or injured. They're not going to fly low to
or
attack
you're getting
you.
very close to their home.
Right.
You're getting very close to their nest, and they're going to defend their residence.
Right. And that's another thing to keep in mind is living in harmony with nature.
Right.
So, so birds.
Yes.
Also.
Birds are good for the garden. People are like, I don't want birds in the garden because they're going to damage. Yes and no. Birds are beneficial in the garden for many reasons, similar to the bats.
Mm-hmm. They are. They definitely pollinate, and they also are good for pest control. So they take care of insects, aphids, mosquitoes, spiders, tomato hornworms. all sorts of things, and because they use those as their natural food source. Birds do like a variety of a diet. They don't just eat seed. They eat seed and meat.
Right.
Yeah.
And incorporating a bird bath into your landscape is very important if you're able to do such, or you want to do that. And there are also tools in which you can incorporate into that bird bath to keep it unfrozen all year long. There are heating coils in which you can lay in there to allow the birds during the winter to access water, and you can keep your bird feeders full all season long and create a pattern in which they fly to the bird feeder and through the garden and then pick off those insects that are doing damage. We talked about in the first segment about looking through your garden. If you have a balance of birds and bats and good bugs and bad bugs, there shouldn't be a whole lot of issue with infestation of insects. You might have problems with the soil issues, but above ground should be very limited if all of these things are working right. Now, I'm not saying they always will work right. But
Right. So, yeah, the birds help with the pests.
And you will see birds that you didn't know you had in your area. Cardinals and blue jays and orioles.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's happened to us where we've seen the little sparrows and the robins. And,
yeah, you always see those.
Right. And now that we fed the birds, we see cardinals for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we saw something else. I don't remember.
You don't have your bird book to check off the ones we've seen.
No.
That's a big thing. You know that,
I know
right?
that's a big thing. Birding is huge.
Yeah.
And I didn't write in my diary that day what birds I saw. So there's that. Larger birds do control rodents. Now, this might not be something you see if you're in the city all the time, but they are there. So things like owls and hawks, they do hunt the mice, voles, rats, squirrels, snakes. Sometimes hawks even hunt small dogs. So you want to keep in mind if you have a small dog. But yeah, they do look for the rodents.
Mm-hmm. Very powerful eyesight in these animals. And their accuracy, very few times do they miss what they're going after. They don't miss very many meals. The owls, the hawks, the bald eagles, you've seen these documentaries on TV, and they come from high above and they just nosedive and they grab exactly what they're after.
Absolutely. They are birds of prey. They are hunting birds. They're going to get what they need from wherever they are, whether it be a squirrel or a mole or not a mole, a vole.
A mole, a vole.
Mole, a vole.
Yeah.
Any of those things, rabbits, whatnot, and even snakes. So you want to keep that in mind, that they will do that and they will be very effective of it. Now, again, if you're in the city and you have a problem, the hawk might not come around, but if you maybe have a friendly neighborhood hawk, who knows? And then birds do pollinate flowers. That's something to keep in mind, especially hummingbirds, orioles. They do the pollination. And then finches, the little tiny birds will eat the weed seeds.
Yes, very important.
Yeah, it is very important. And that will help, control weeds.
Getting those weed seeds. Now, true enough, if we are doing what we're supposed to be doing, and we fall in this category, so we're not pointing fingers at you. If we all was weeding when we should be and was not allowing these these weeds to go to seed, the finches wouldn't have anything to eat. So maybe, Holly, in some weird realm of the universe, our laziness is helping the birds survive.
I would say. I'm not really sure, though, but yeah, okay.
I mean, there's weeds everywhere.
Right.
Not, if we just weed everything in our garden, we're not going to kill the population, but I'm sure they'll find what they need. But if you have some weeds and you have, the sparrows are eating the weed seeds, then why not? Well, you know what's going to eat your plants this summer? Japanese beetles, Holly. Summer's getting here. Temperatures are warming up in most parts of the country. And those Japanese beetles, weevils, and borers, they're already here in some instances, and they are ready to not only attack your bush beans and your pole beans, but pretty much anything that you've got growing.
Right. And what better way to prevent those pests from destroying your garden than by controlling them while they are larvae? Grub Gone is an easy-to-apply granular product that can be spread on your turf to successfully control grub invaders. Developed by Phylum Bioproducts from a naturally occurring bacteria, Grub Gone is a non-chemical BT product that specifically targets only certain scarab pests, and it's safe to use around bees and other beneficial insects.
Yes. Or if you already have those Japanese beetles flying around, Beetle Gone is an organic water dispersible powder that you can spray directly on. Yes, directly. Absolutely. Put it right on your edible plants and with no harm to you. Find out more and all the information that goes along with that at phyllumbioproducts.com. That's PHYLLOM bioproducts.com. And they also have a coupon code, Holly, that you can save on your purchase of Grub Gone, and that is Garden Talk 10. To save 10% off your order at phyllumbioproducts.com. Hang out with us. Author Charlotte Wiggins will be with us right after this break. You're listening to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Have a garden question? Give Joey and Holly a call now or anytime 24/7. Just dial 1-800-927-SHOW. If you can't get through, leave a message and they will call you back. Call now 1-800-927-SHOW.
Rootmaker starts your plants off right and keeps them going through harvest. From their seed starting trays with an innovative design that air prunes the roots to their large variety of grow bags, 1 to 60 gallons. Their products will provide you with the harvest that you've never seen before. Visit rootmaker.com and use coupon code RADIO22 to save 15% off your order. That's rootmaker.com. Japanese beetles show up in summer for a feeding frenzy in your garden, and they are the worst party guest. Feeding on leaves, then laying eggs in your lawn for next year. Japanese beetles can decimate your plants and trees. Protect your plants with Japanese beetle traps from Rescue. New this year, Rescue has refill lures to use the same trap again the next year. Made in the USA by the makers of the popular Rescue Fly and Yellow Jacket traps. Learn more at rescue.com. That's RESCUE.com. Chapin has the tools you need to water, feed, and protect your garden. We make equipment for lawn and garden care, and we are always innovating to help make your next growing season a success. Our newest products are the 5010 Rose Duster, watering tools including hose nozzles, sprinklers, and timers, the Mixes on Exit Backpack Sprayer that mixes concentrate as you spray. You can find all products at www.chapinmfg.com, major online retailers, home improvement stores, and hardware stores near you. 90% of the world's flowering plants require pollination to reproduce. Without pollinators, we humans would not survive. Here at Finding Nectar, a Denver suburb-based nursery providing flowering plants that are bee, butterfly, moth, and bat friendly, we are striving to get more pollinators into the backyards of Colorado. Together, we can increase the pollinating population one plant at a time. Affordable plants. Check all the plants out at 1550 Highway 72 in Arvada and at findingnectar.com.
Protect your plants from damage with the 3-in-1 Plant Guard and Special Blend Fertilizer. Visit ivorganics.com. Use promo code RADIO10 to save 10% off your order. Show your body and monarch butterflies some love with Milkweed Balm, made with milkweed seed oil to promote relaxation and muscle recovery. Full of antioxidants and packed with powerful omega fatty acids to fight pain and inflammation. Milkweed Balm is product-based conservation of wild monarch butterfly habitat. Visit milkweedbalm.com to find out more. Dig planting holes from a comfortable standing position. Step, twist, pull, and plant. Visit ProPlugger.com.
Have you ever tried to carry all your tools and supplies on your tractor? You fumble around looking for the right one, unsafely holding them while you drive. Big Tool Rack developed a range of carry-all systems that attaches to your compact tractor in seconds, creating a mobile workstation that allows you to safely carry your tools and supplies. Big Tool Rack's telescoping wheel system and 3-point hitch connections allows you to quickly attach and detach the carry-all system for easy storage. Working around the house, the homestead, or the farm, Big Tool Rack has your back and all your tools. Use code MYRACK5 for 5% off purchases at BigToolRack.com. Find out why we're built to haul it all. Take the guesswork out of composting with hot bin composting. Quickly break down food scraps within 30 to 90 days. Find out more at hotbincomposting.com. The Water Hoop is a portable water sprinkler system that allows you to target water evenly around the root ball scale of your tree or bush. Conforms to various shapes for your watering needs. The water hoop reduces runoff and saves money. Visit waterhoop.com. Thanks for listening to the Gardening with Joe and Holly radio show. As you've heard through the program, many companies offering coupon codes to help you save on great products. If you've missed any of those coupon codes, you can go to our parent website, the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, and click on the Money tab at the top of the page, and they're all listed for you. The Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show is brought to you by the following: Rootmaker, Dripworks, Pomona Universal Pectin, Phylum Bioproducts, Tree Diaper, Chapin Manufacturing Incorporated, Deer Defeat, Water Hoop. Find all sponsors at the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com and thank them for their support. Welcome back to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. Charlotte Wiggins moments away, but first...
Are you worrying about your plant growth? Then provide your plants with what they need to grow to their potential with Simple Grow. Simple Grow offers 100% organic worm castings at simplegrow.com. Unlike other worm casting products, when you order from Simple Grow, you are getting 100% worm castings, not filler plus castings. You can promote ideal soil structure and aeration with Simple Grow's all-natural and odor-free worm castings. There's only one ingredient, worm castings. No chemicals or additives will seep into your food.
Say it with more pizzazz. Only worm castings.
Only worm castings.
There you go.
There's only one ingredient, worm castings. No chemicals or additives will seep into your food, and it doesn't smell like other fertilizers. For indoor and outdoor use, order by the bag, bundle, ton, or truckload. Check out what Simple Grow can do for you at simplegrow.com.
Well, Holly, let's go to the Proclamation Hotline, brought to you by Proclamation Goods, and bring in our guest for this week.
Charlotte Wiggins gardens on a 1-acre hillside garden in the central Missouri. She is a beekeeper, author, and founder of Bluebird Gardens. Her book is A Beekeeper's Diary, Self-Guide to Keeping Bees. Welcome to the program, Charlotte.
Thanks, Holly. Good to be here. Hi, Joey.
Well, we are happy that you've taken time out of your busy schedule, not only to educate Holly and myself, but also all of our listeners across the country, and we look forward to having this conversation with you. So with
Delighted to be here.
Well, we're happy you are. Most people think of honeybees when it comes to beekeeping. Is that the most common bee to beekeep with or not? Or what is, I guess, would be what is the misconception maybe a lot of people think when it comes to, oh, bees, honey, that type of thing?
I think that's a correct assumption. Apis mellifera, the western honeybee, is the most kept or managed honeybee in North America. It is not an endangered bee, which is the misconception. The native bees are the ones that are being challenged right now with the loss of habitat. The honeybees are managed like you do chickens or cows or goats. They are a managed a community of bees, whereas the native bees, are pretty much on their own, and they don't have the help that they need.
So the native bees, I'm going to refer this like the Asian carp is destroying the other species because it's overtaking the pot. So it's not like the honeybee or the bumblebee is destroying the habitat for the native bee. We're doing that on their behalf, kind of.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And bumblebees are considered to be native bees, whereas the honeybees are the managed bees.
Okay, great. And so what should people really consider before, they want to keep bees or start keeping bees or invest in that equipment and whatnot?
Well, that's a really good question because it's very expensive and it's a challenging field to get into if you've never been a biologist, especially. You are entering the world of the bees, so you need to learn the terminology that beekeepers use because it is a very different language, like a lot of specialties. It helps to read a lot of books. Be careful of YouTube channel videos because there are a lot of them out there, but not necessarily appropriate to your area. Beekeeping is very local. And so a technique that you may find in Georgia may not be applicable in Milwaukee, for example. Go to local bee clubs. There are local bee clubs around the country. Meet other beekeepers, volunteer to help somebody who has hives or has an apiary so you can get a close-up experience with that. If you're in an area that doesn't have a local bee club, I just launched my second edition of the Bee Club Basics, which gives you a guide on how to start an educational nonprofit to support your local beekeeping community. Your success will depend on sharing information among other beekeepers. And so that's a really important step to develop a relationship with somebody else who's in your area keeping bees. Matter of fact, the Heroes to Hives program, which teaches veterans how to beekeep around the country, tells you to not get bees until your second year. Go through online training, go to teaching apiaries, get your hands in a hive so that you can get comfortable and get over that scared to death feeling, and then get your bees, because at that point you should be better, more successful in managing them.
Now, with if and you know people, and we know people that, well, I know what I need to know and I'm just going to do it. Is there certain requirements, legalities, permits that one needs to obtain based on where they're at to even allow them legally?
Oh, absolutely. Check into your local ordinances and statutes, because some communities limit how many hives you can have or where you can have them.
Or if you can do it at all.
Same thing with chickens or goats or horses. So make sure you know your legal requirements in your community before you do this.
Definitely. That is really helpful. So now, could you tell us more about your book, A Beekeeper's Diary, Self-Guide to Keeping Bees, and why should our listeners check it out?
Sure. Well, I started teaching beginning beekeeping 10 years ago at the request of our local extension office, and used to develop these handouts that became editions over the years and were in a loose leaf binder for the last couple of years. And I decided that it was just kind of crazy to be making all these copies when I could make it into a book. And so the Beekeeper's Diary is both a guide to keeping bees with a pest and disease section and how to artificially feed if you need to, and what the challenges are, what kind of equipment you need, as well as helpful checklists that as you're starting you can follow. There's 14 decisions, for example, you have to make on where to place your hives. And that checklist helps you stay on track and not forget something, because it's hard to remember when you're starting. There's a lot of information that you have to take in when you're starting. And that book has also been certified by the Great Plains Master Beekeeping Program out of the University of Nebraska at Lincoln as having scientifically based best management practices. That's the other part of beekeeping. I've had a club here since 2014, and we see people coming to us frustrated because they didn't get a good start with the fundamentals. If you learn the basics early, you then can build on that and increase your success. So that's what that book is designed to do. Some people cannot get to a club, can't get to a class, but they can at least pick up that book and get a start. And then if they do go to a class, I use it in my classes as well, they will have something to take home to help them, be reminded of the 9 hours they just went through in a class about all the decisions they have to make.
Well, congratulations on that certification on that book. That's like an Oscar.
Thank you.
Because that means a lot. That's like the Bible of beekeeping, essentially.
It's really nice to have professionals look at it and say, oh, yeah, this is a good product.
You know what you're doing. Good job.
Thank you.
Now, you talked about location of hive. And it all depends on, and I know enough about beekeeping to get all of us in trouble here. You based on what flowers the bees pick up and bring back to the hive can greatly affect the flavor in which the honey that they're making has.
Yes.
And it all depends on, you got to keep them so far away from this and that and all that, and that's what that book covers in great detail.
Right. And you're really keeping two insects in a hive these days. Yes, you're keeping a honeybee, but you're trying to keep the numbers of the varroa mite, which is an invasive tick that now has spread throughout the world except for Australia. You're wanting to keep the varroa numbers low. The varroa mite basically consumes the fat body, which is like the liver of the bees, and leaves them without any defense mechanism. And then they vector like 4 dozen viruses that the varroa carry. And so you want to keep the varroa numbers low and your honeybee numbers high. So it's a very delicate balance, because you don't want to kill your honeybees, and what you need to manage varroa can kill your bees. So you have to learn. We're amateur biologists and scientists at this stage to be successful beekeepers. You can use integrated pest management. There's steps of like pulling out the male drone brood early spring if you don't need to have drones to mate with your queens, because that's where the varroa might reproduce inside the larger comb, wax comb where the drones are raised. You can split your hives. You can do things that don't require the use of chemicals. But that's intensive to do that and stay on top of it and constantly monitor the levels of varroa in your hive. So it's not an easy process. It's not inexpensive. It's time consuming. And you really are entering the world of bees. You're not telling the bees what to do. You are learning what the bees need and learning when you can engage with them to help them without hurting them. So it's a fine, delicate balance you have to learn.
Well, how can we help us non-beekeepers? How can we help the native bee species? What can we do in our everyday life?
Absolutely simplest thing to do. Plant native trees, shrubs, and flowers. Those native species have a relationship with those native bees. There's a bee, I forget the name of it now. It's a bumblebee that only collects nectar and pollen off blueberry bushes that are grown in a certain part of Maine, for example. So those relationships have evolved over millions of years, and they're codependent, right? The bee is codependent to the plant and vice versa. The plants depending on the bees for reproduction services, and the bees depending on the plants for food, nectar for flight fuel, and food for their babies. So plant those native plants and make sure that you have them matched to your soil type. The good news is if you're brand new to gardening and brand new to growing things, those native plants will be very successful because they're already acclimated to your weather conditions, your climate, to your soils. Just make sure you're matching them correctly to your soils and you're keeping them hydrated that first year. It's always surprising to me that people think, well, natives don't need water. Yes, they still need water to get established. But that's the most important thing we all can do is plant more flowers.
That's really helpful to know. So thank you for that. So what is, we're approaching early summer here, and what is one of your favorite early summer things in the garden? Whether it be a plant that blooms or just something you enjoy doing in the garden in early summer. What is one of your favorite parts of early summer in the garden?
Oh, you know what? I garden on a 1 acre limestone hillside where my neighbors said nothing would grow. And I've been here 37 years. I have over 50 dwarf fruit trees. And I take a walk every morning, and I love to see what's happening in the garden, particularly on those fruit trees. And this year, I'm so excited because I actually have fuzzy pears and nectarines now showing. I had my first Bing cherry last year. Don't ask me how much that cost over the years, but boy, it was delicious. And I often have to beat the squirrels to the ripe fruit, but this year it's going to be a bumper crop. I think the plants have finally found their way through the limestone. Their roots have, and now they root the first year. They shoot the second year, they fruit the third year. Well, here on limestone, it can take 10 years for them to do that cycle. So some of the older trees are finally getting to the point where they're fruiting. So I love discovering the fruit, even if they're baby little tiny baby fruits on my fruit trees.
When you moved there, was it when the neighbors said, oh, nothing will grow there, was that a challenge for you? Was you like, watch this? Or was it just something that you decided, well, let's try it?
Well, no, actually, I've always been a gardener. My family goes back hundreds of years to Hungary. We were farmers back then, even strawberry farmers in Louisiana when they immigrated to the U.S. I just looked at them. I mean, I didn't want grass.
Right.
That's what they had. Their idea of gardening was planting turf grass, and I wanted flowers. I like cut flowers. And so I just listened to that, and I said, well, okay, I know it's going to be a little harder. And I think I have one friend who still comes back periodically to see what I'm doing, and he's just amazed at what's happened on this hillside. It's been a lot of work. It's bringing in mulch and composting everything and just taking my time. I have trees that take 30 years to show any kind of growth, but we're getting there. So patience helps a lot. I don't expect things to grow overnight, and I just like growing things, so I haven't been bothered too much about that.
Fantastic. Well, we really enjoyed having you on the program today. Can you tell us how people can find out more about you?
Sure. They can go to charlotteeckerwiggins.com. I also blog at Gardening Charlotte, at Home Sweet Bees, and a teaspoon, where I have fun. I joke about playing with my food. If I grow something, I may make something with it, and I'll feature that on the blogs. And they can find links to the blogs at bluebirdgardens.com, which is my custom gift company.
And your book is available there as well?
It is. The autograph. That's the only place to get autographed copies is at Bluebird Gardens.
Well, Charlotte, we greatly appreciate the time that you have offered to Holly and myself and all of our listeners and the knowledge you've shared with us in the short amount of time we've had. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And when we come back, your garden questions, our garden answers. It's the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Give Joey and Holly a call now or anytime 24/7. Just dial 1-800-927-SHOW. If you can't get through, leave a message and they will call you back. Call now 1-800-927-SHOW.
Jung Seed Company is a family-owned and operated gardening company since 1907 with the largest selection of seeds and plants online. Use code 10TG22 to receive 10% off your order at jungseed.com. That code again is 10TG22.
If you could double the life of your raised bed boxes by sealing the wood with a clear, non-toxic wood preservative, would you? Well, now you can with a clear, penetrating product called Internal Wood Stabilizer. It's 100% non-toxic and easy to apply. Seal your untreated wood surfaces, even chicken coops, by spraying on Internal Wood Stabilizer. It's invisible, seals the wood from the inside out, and never wears off. Recommended by organic gardening experts. Internal Wood Stabilizer. Check it out at timberprocoatingsusa.com.
Pomona's Universal Pectin is a high-quality pectin that gels reliably with low amounts of any sweetener. If you're trying to reduce the amount of sugar in your diet, you'll love Pomona's Universal Pectin. Now you can make healthy homemade jams and jellies sweetened to your taste. You can use sugar or honey to sweeten. Pomona's Universal Pectin keeps indefinitely when stored in an airtight container. Easy to use, versatile, and comes with directions and recipes in every box. Find out more and where to buy at PomonaPectin.com. Also available at natural food stores and online. Make watering easy. DripWorks provides quality drip irrigation supplies and equipment to gardeners just like you for all your growing needs across the U.S. and Canada. Purchase online at dripworks.com.
This week's garden tip is sponsored by the amazing Dr. Zymes. Eliminate and prevent garden pests with their 100% all-natural, all-in-one insecticide and fungicide. Experience powerful natural protection from insects, fungus, mold, and mildew. Try a free sample. Visit drzymes.com/garden talk. Thrifts are miniature slender insects that can feed in large groups, feeding on onions, beans, carrots, squash, and many other garden vegetables, and many flowers. When combating thrifts, the amazing Dr. Zymes is the tool for you. Using 3 days in a row, then once weekly, continue until no sign of pests. This will only affect the bad bugs, not the beneficial good bugs. Dr. Zymes is armory listed, safe to the day of harvest, and doesn't leave a residue. That helpful garden tip was sponsored by the amazing Dr. Zymes. Eliminate and prevent garden pests with their 100% all-natural, all-in-one insecticide and fungicide. Experience powerful natural protection from insects, fungus, mold, and mildew. Try a free sample. Visit drzymes.com/garden talk.
Spring is around the corner, folks, and Algae Men reminds you that this year, when it's time for spring cleaning, don't forget about the outside of your house. Algae Men is southeastern Wisconsin's go-to for exterior cleaning, including roofs, siding, decks, and concrete. So if you spot ugly black stains or green splotchy stuff on your home, let Algae Men get rid of it for you. We can restore the area back to its original look, not only in a timely manner, but also at an affordable cost. For a free estimate, visit us today at algaemen.com. Algae Men, we clean areas that you don't want to.
Thanks for listening to the Gardening with Joe and Holly radio show. As you've heard through the program, many companies offering coupon codes to help you save on great products. If you've missed any of those coupon codes, you can go to our parent website, the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, and click on the Money tab at the top of the page, and they're all listed for you. The Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show is brought to you by the following: Tree Ripe, Covers and All, Ironwood Tool Company, Timber Pro Coatings, Blue Ribbon Organics, Natural Green Products, Algae Men, Dr. Zymes, Happy Leaf LED, Rescue, Big Tool Rack, Hot Bin Composting, Proclamation Goods. Find all sponsors at the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com and thank them for their support. Welcome back to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. Happy you've been with us today. Time for your questions are answers. If you want to partake in that, you can listen to us, but also you can submit your question via email to gardentalkradio@gmail.com. gardentalkradio@gmail.com, or if you'd like to give us a call, you can do that on the Proclamation Hotline brought to you by Proclamation Goods. That number, 1-800-927-SHOW. 1-800-927-7469. Lock that in your phone. Have it available whenever you need it. The Proclamation Hotline brought to you by Proclamation Goods, Holly.
Proclamation Goods creates cookware for the eco-conscious home chef. Their pans are non-toxic, have a lifetime warranty, and are made in Wisconsin. Their award-winning stainless steel Proclamation Duo cookware set is a 12-inch skillet and a stock pot that doubles as a wok. Best of all, the skillet and stock pot hinge together to form a Dutch oven. It's 2 pans with the versatility of 10, empowering you to cook more with less. If you care about your health and strive for a more sustainable lifestyle, then Proclamation Goods is for you. Supplies limited, so order yours now at proclamationgoods.com.
All right. John, listening to us on WAAM Wham Radio, 1600 AM and 92.7 FM out of Ann Arbor, did the email method, and he writes in and says, I have chiggers in my flower garden. They're not supposed to be in this part of the state, but I have painful, itchy bites to prove it. What do you recommend to get rid of them off my property? Thanks, John. Well, John, first of all, thanks for emailing us at gardentalkradio@gmail.com, and we've got some answers for you.
First of all, chigger bites are no fun.
No.
They're very itchy and not fun.
You don't know you have them until you have them.
Yeah, and then you're like, this is terrible. So, John, we feel for you. So you can use, there's a inorganic way. It's a powder.
It's a neurological agent that will destroy the respiratory system, and if you ingest it, it's not good for you either. Yeah,
it's a ready-to-use 5% dust powder, and
we choose not to use that name.
Right.
Yeah.
And you just sprinkle a light, even layer over the area where the chiggers are, and the vegetation.
There's a safer way here.
Yeah.
Let's go to the safer way.
Right.
Keep your grass mowed low. You can plant marigolds and sprinkle diatomaceous earth around the plants or the area in which is infected. You can also spray a vinegar-based solution, a mixture of witch hazel, and essential oils that will help. You can spray that in the area. That'll help diffuse them or kill them. You can also use. You can opt out the witch hazel for a combination of essential oils from the following. You can choose eucalyptus, lemongrass, tea tree oil, a number of other ones that you can choose from. But if you got a large area, Holly, and they're already there, this may be a feel-good moment, but will end badly the next time you sit on the grass because you're just not going to be able to control the population.
Right. So
you can look up inorganic and organic ways to control chiggers in your area, but just be aware it's like trying to control dandelions. They come from all over, and once they're there, it's almost impossible to get rid of them. All right, let's go to the next question here, Holly. After listening to your show and watching your videos, yes, go ahead.
You could also, I know this sucks in your backyard, but you can use a bug spray with DEET.
Yeah.
And that will keep the chiggers away.
Or a flamethrower.
Right, but if they say they attack your ankles, and you know that, you can spray around that area on your body, or you can wear like high socks. Tuck your socks into
Try
your
to
pants.
limit exposed skin.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, next question here. After listening to your show and watching your videos, I found out I have planted short day onions in the north. Will they even grow?
They will grow. You're not going to get a large bulb. You might get a smaller bulb. You'll definitely get some top growth, but it's not going to be like a super huge onion.
You've just planted a whole lot of onion greens.
Essentially, yes. So I hope you like onion greens.
But there's the onions fall into 3 categories: short day, which is grown in the south; long day, which is grown in the north; neutral day or midday, grown in the central portions of the United States. It's all based on daylight length, and if one grows in the opposite area, you will get growth on the top, but you won't get any bulb development. North to the south, south to the north. That's why you want to be very aware of what you're planting, because not all of them identify themselves as long day, short day, midday. You sometimes have to know the variety and go, oh, that's a long day, that's a short day. So,
right. So then, excuse me. Then we also have a question here about the Florida weave.
Okay.
What What is a Florida weave?
Yeah. A Florida weave is, the Florida weave is a way in which we support our tomatoes. We use the cage method, but a Florida weave is fence post on each end of the bed. And if the bed is long enough, you would need a supporting post in the center, and you have several runs or from one end to the other of very strong tensile strength string or rope, and the plants are woven through it like the side of a wrestling ring or boxing ring. And as the plants grow, you weave them through, and the limbs of the tomato plants hang on that string, and that string mimics a cage, so you don't have to worry about fussing with the cages. We run 2 strings, so when you can open them up, and if you go to our parent website, the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, and type in Florida Weave, you'll see a bunch of how-to videos. We run 2 strings in each run, and then we open it up with wise, and then allow the plant to grow through and tuck it underneath the limb of the tomatoes and let them hang off of them. So that is how we do it. Here, Holly, do I need supporting measures for my peppers? I do it for my tomatoes, but do I need them for my peppers?
No, peppers don't typically need support unless you lived in some really high wind area or something. But peppers are pretty sturdy as is. And peppers do like to be planted a little bit close to each other.
Yes.
They like to have their leaves touching. Peppers are friendly plants. So you can plant them a little bit close to each other. They'll support each other. They like to have their leaves touching, and you don't need to support them.
Well, Holly, with that being said, we are out of time. Another hour is complete. And we thank you for the time that you've offered in your day to listen to us. Did you miss any portion of the program today, or you would like to revisit it? You can certainly do that in a couple of means. One being by going to our parent website, the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, and clicking on the Radio 6 tab at the top of the page. Or you can send us an email, gardentalkradio@gmail.com, and we will send you the link to this show in podcast form. Tune in next week as we will be discussing the 5 mistakes canners make and life underneath your garden soil. Our guest will be author Teresa Rooney and will answer your garden questions. So until next week, for
Holly Baird,
I'm Joy Baird, and we will see you in the garden.